The Athletics are hosting a groundbreaking for their definitely real, definitely happening new ballpark down in Las Vegas later this month at 8 a.m. I'm sure it is going to be a monumental affair, one for the record books. Honestly, Damon Bruce has already gone over the absurdity of this entire ordeal far better than I ever could, so you can go check out that video if you want his take on the situation. When I heard about the A's plans for a groundbreaking ceremony, as well as those like 7 people still fiercely defending this move, Vegas A's, I told you so, I ended up feeling a sense of deja vu.
Come in now, what seems to be the matter?
I have this terrible feeling of deja vu.
I ended up feeling a sense of deja vu.
Come in now, what seems to be the matter?
I have this terrible feeling of deja vu.
Has there ever been a case of a sports team and local government officials coming together to make a stadium announcement at a construction site without having financing in place beforehand, only for nothing to happen that was located within, let's say, a 2-mile radius of where the A's currently play their home games? Given the super weird way I qualified that question, you already know the answer is a resounding yes. If you start at Sutter Health Park, drive about 5 minutes going over the hella sketchy I Street Bridge and onto Railyards Blvd, you'll find a nice, big, beautiful patch of dirt. I don't know if it was beautiful, but it was a patch of dirt nonetheless. And on that very patch of dirt, in 2017, Sac Republic owner Kevin Nagel, then Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg, and a few other local officials, as well as Carmichael Dave, invited local media to come down and watch them cosplay construction workers while having a big old circle jerk in the form of a stadium announcement ceremony. And what do you know? A's ownership, some local politicians, I'm guessing a local celebrity or two, are going to invite media to come on down to the site of the demolished Tropicana, a big old piece of flat dirt, to do the exact same thing. Here is how this is going to play out. Fisher and his friends will talk about what an exciting opportunity this is. Local politicians are going to gush about the impact the project can have, and everyone is going to act like it's really happening. How did this strategy play out in Sacramento? Well, 7 years, 10 months, and a handful of days after that very first stadium ground, whatever you want to call it, ceremony took place, it appears as if the project is finally getting off the ground. In that time span, a few other similar stadium events were organized. The team was sold a couple of times. Sacramento received an MLS expansion franchise, lost it, revised the stadium plans on multiple occasions, and completed no actual tangible construction work on the site, rendering all of those hard hats people were wearing on that day in 2017 well and truly moot. You know the one thing the Sacramento Republic ceremony in 2017 and what the A's will do down in Las Vegas later on in June have in common? Neither project had full financing in place, and without that, you don't have much to build upon. Everything you're doing is really meaningless, because if you did have the financing in place, you'd be building the stadium. You wouldn't need to try to attract eyeballs to what you're doing. Hey, look at me. Ultimately, if you have the money to build something, people are going to know you have the money to build it. Kevin Nagel and Darrell Steinberg spent years trying to convince people something was happening with the Railyards soccer stadium. A few folks did naively buy into what those two were selling. Don Garber bid on it hook, line, and sinker for some reason. The issue was the individual who was eventually brought on to be the money man, Ron Burkel, never put any money up, going all the way back to 2019 when the MLS chose Sacramento to be an expansion city. In our scenario, however, A's owner John Fisher isn't Burkel. He's actually Kevin Nagel, looking for a Burkel-type person to come in and fund his stadium in Las Vegas. In other words, the man who didn't have the money to get the stadium project off the ground, but thought he could convince others to bankroll it for him. Both found a few cheerleaders in the local government to also help support their efforts, but what neither man had was connections. They had to concoct these dog and pony shows to try and convince other potential investors they're worthy of consideration. These stadiums are real things backed by competent individuals. Of course, anyone with even the most basic ability to do some critical thinking can see right through them. For starters, no one would do a groundbreaking or ground marking or show up to a dirt lot in a construction site without having all of their financing ducks in a row. Seriously, what Fisher is trying to do right now is akin to a barista from Pete's Coffee and Tea applying for a mortgage by showing the bank officer how good they can make a latte. Anyone handing out money, though, doesn't care about that. They want to know your financial situation, and more importantly, they want to know how you're going to pay back that loan. How are you going to get their return on investment? We know the A's plans are shit. It is nothing but make-believe projections. Everything is based on the fact that this is an MLB franchise owned by anyone else other than John Fisher. Similarly, I've never been convinced Nagel's plans for a Railyards Stadium in Sacramento were much better. There was certainly more public support for the plans, but I don't know if they made a lot of sense. Think about it. There is a reason why no one in the world apart from Ron Burkel came forward to help with funding. Clearly, the plans cooked up by Nagel and Steinberg left a lot to be desired. And when I think about Burkel, he really never seemed as if he wanted to be here at all. Even during that MLS press conference, a historic moment for the city, lol, Burkel looked extremely uninterested in everything that was happening. Honestly, he looked like a man who would have rather been anywhere else at that moment. That super indifference toward proceedings would extend over to when it became time to put up some money to build the Railyard Soccer Stadium. That financing was never ever forthcoming. Hell, his people couldn't even get the MLS expansion contract back to the league office. Down in Vegas, Fisher hired an investment firm more than a year ago now to drum up interested parties to pump in $500 million into the team and this project, and they have found zero takers. The franchise is now resorting to the oldest, dodgiest real estate practice in the book to find anyone to help support this con. The last hope here for the A's is that a patsy like Burkel can be located and talked into supporting this project. And if that's your best bet, it's probably a good time to walk away from the table. For those who think the A's hosting a groundbreaking in Las Vegas is a sign of progress, well, I encourage you to get familiar with the phrase better late than never. It took Sacramento almost 8 years to make real progress on its stadium plans. Funding projects like this does not magically appear in a tree or fall out of the sky. It takes work and it takes competent people who know what they're doing. Instead, the only thing that happened with the Railyard Soccer Stadium project was like a never-ending stream of groundbreakings and press conferences and people talking about how good it would be. That and $4 can get you a pair of Monster energy drinks down at the local Tower Mart. In Las Vegas, though, at least MGM can start selling those rooms with a view of a dirt lot and a backhoe in it. Finally, a word on Sac Republic's Railyard Stadium, looking as if it will actually be completed. Wilton Rancheria, I beg you, just get the damn thing built. It's hard to get excited about a project that's been dangling in front of us for years now. Make it a reality and we will all be stoked and grateful for your contributions to the city's sports scene. Also, a piece of advice, go ahead and skip the groundbreaking ceremony. Honestly though, I do hope it gets built, and not just because I want to have a reason to drive down Richards Boulevard that doesn't involve going to the cash and carry. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to know how Sacramento actually almost landed an expansion MLS franchise during the league's launch in the 1990s, that's going to be the video in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, and to understand how Sacramento ended up losing its baseball team in the 1970s, video lower left-hand corner. Until next time, I am Cheyenne Hollis. This is the Touchback, and as always, hashtag take it out, the 25.